Hey, it's NOOCH, and it's time to talk about the one-shots and the droids. Now, NOOCH did not include these in his top 5 dark side and top 5 light side videos because you're pretty much going to have these guys in your deck all the time. There are some exceptions, and sometimes you might consider a couple of them, but for the most part, you're going to have all these one-shots and droids in your lineup all the time. You're going to be using them, and they're going to make you a better player. So we're also not going to rank these, by the way, because there's no point in ranking them. You'll understand as we go why we're not ranking them, because they're all super important, and we're just going to play video. NOOCH uses them all the time, all of them, up and down. The one-shots, the seismic charge, the boomer balls, the bombers, the Y-wing and the TIE bomber, the droids, BB-8, BB-9, R2, and C2. You're going to see them constantly used in the video that NOOCH is sharing, so there's no reason to specify the videos and go through it. You just keep watching all those units. So let's start with the seismic charge. This is a one-shot with a wide area of damage, a big circle. You can drop it anywhere on the field, and it's really more of an area of stun. Think of it that way. It stuns everything in that circle and does damage. So you can like stun a tower, and you can wipe out a sniper, or stun a tower and stun a legendary all in the circle while your units go down and do some damage. Another way you use it is when Leia is using her Inspire. You stun her, it wipes out the Inspire. If you stun any legendary while they're going through their special, it will wipe out that special altogether. It is so valuable. If you're a new player and you don't have the seismic charge yet, get those trophies up. I just can't remember. It's on the third or fourth planet, the seismic charge and the boomer balls. So you got to get the 1,500 and 2,000 trophies to get these. Get to those trophy levels. Get the seismic charge and the boomer balls. Get them in your lineup right away. These are so important. They are the most important units in the game. You need seismic charge on the dark side. You need boomer balls on the light side. You need to be able to stun those units in your path. Stun those units coming at you so you can finish them off. Let's say you've got on the dark side, you're playing dark side, you got a flock of porgs and Ewoks coming at you. That seismic charge will not only stun them, it'll wipe them out. And if you had like Luke in the middle of there, it'll stun him. Then you can drop some battle droids and wipe him out too because he's stunned. And then the same thing happens with the boomer balls on the light side. The boomer balls, instead of a big circle of damage, are just 4 balls that roll straight down, so a straight line of damage. As soon as each ball hits something, it stops. Those boomer balls, in some cases, can wipe out a battle droid factory. They can certainly wipe out a battalion of battle droids, but then you'll have 2 boomer balls left that you didn't use. So you only want to wipe out a battalion of battle droids with boomer balls if it's your last-ditch effort to keep your tower or to stay safe. Because why waste 2 boomer balls when you can use it for something else? You want to use those boomer balls to support units on their way down the field. You got a push going with, let's say, Luke and some Ewoks, and they're getting close to the tower. You know your opponent's going to drop something. Drop those boomer balls and stun whatever he drops so that your Luke and Ewoks can finish off everything in their path. Now, the one difference between the two is the boomer balls do more damage, but they can't target that middle tower. But the seismic charge can target everything, but does a little bit less damage. Either way, get them in your lineup and use them. They're that important. They're the most important units in the game, period. Let's talk about the other one-shots, the bombers, the Y-wing and the TIE bomber. In planetary play, when you're playing through the planets, you have to have these in your lineup every time. Keep them in your lineup. Here's what these do for you. If you're at the end of the game and let's say your bomber does 600 damage and the other tower is at 500 health, you have won the game. The game is over. You wipe out that tower, time is over, done. You have to have the bombers in your lineup. The other option is that tower, you've got 600 on yours, so you can do 600 twice. It's 1,200. Their tower's at 1,100. You notice it. You got about 15 seconds left. Bomber at once, cycle through, get your BB-8 out of there for 1 energy, get your R2 out for 2 energy, get your 1 energy Stormtrooper, whatever. Bomber again, game over. Use it to kill those towers or to target multiple units. Target a tower and a sniper. Target a tower and a bunch of Ewoks. Use it for multiple target kills or tower kills and for nothing else. It happens all the time. NOOCH has opponents, and has with seismic charges and boomer balls too. NOOCH has literally had it happen where NOOCH dropped 3 porgs down, which is 1 energy, and his opponent used a seismic charge for 3 energy just to kill those 1 porgs. Don't, those 3 porks. Don't do that. You've just given a 2 energy advantage to your opponent. You do that 3 or 4 times, you're just gone. You're going to lose. You need to target multiple units with all these one-shots whenever possible, or be killing a tower. Those are your 2 options. Here's another thing that happens every day. Nooch didn't record it, but it happens all the time. We're going to talk about it in beginner mistakes video. Nooch builds a tower in the middle, a big old particle beam sitting there, 2100 energy. We're sitting there, Nooch's opponent saving energy, Nooch is saving energy. Nooch gets to about 8 energy, and boom, his opponent drops a bomber on that full strength tower. Now the tower, instead of being at 2100, is at like 1500. Oh no, Nooch can't handle that. Yes, he can. You just gave Nooch a huge energy advantage. Don't drop a bomber on a tower that's at full health. That's a complete waste. Unless there's other units there that you're damaging or wiping out as well, then you do it. But if you give me that energy advantage, you give me a 4 energy advantage, I might take my legendary and drop it deep. And yeah, I used 1 extra energy than that 4 energy. I'll use 5 for that. But then, now we're almost even energy, the 2 of us. As my legendary approaches, I'm going to be even energy with you, but I've already got a legendary on the field. Think about it. Don't use the bomber to drop on a full health tower, only if you're going to be killing towers in 1 or 2 shots, or killing multiple units. BB-8 and BB-9. These guys are awesome. They roll down the field fast, they only cost 1 energy, and they can stun whatever they touch. If a tower is facing left, you drop a BB-8 to the right or BB-9, it'll stun the tower. If a legendary is facing left and you drop a BB-8 or 9 to the right, like their legendary is fighting a stormtrooper over here, you drop a BB-8 over here, stun the legendary. Sometimes the legendaries with lightsabers, which is Luke and Vader and Yoda right now, there's like a small chance you can stun them without any help at all. Your BB-8 will always stun a particle beam, so if you want to get an advantage on a particle beam, stun it, or at least you make your opponent respond to it because they don't want their particle beam stunned. But the biggest thing that BB-8 and BB-9 do, the different points of the game, they can gain territory for you, especially at the beginning of the game. If your opening 4 has BB-8 in it or BB-9, you can drop them down, they'll zip out, and if your opponent didn't have them, and you get to that middle territory first, it lights up, you drop a tower in the middle territory, and you now have more territory than your opponent. You have 2/3 of the way down the field, your opponent only has their side of it. So it gives you an automatic advantage against almost every player. Some players love playing for defense, and they might like you dropping middle tower. Most of us don't. Most of us look at that as, I'm in trouble now, I got to react to it, and have to start, then you start playing with that middle tower. Because FYI, guys, you're always playing for the middle. This game is about the middle. We'll talk about that in a different video. But that's what BB-8 and BB-9 can do you. And in a rare case, at the beginning of the game, if your opponent is really slow to react, they can roll all the way down and maybe get you a forward tower right off the bat. So they do lots of great things, including stunning, moving fast, and getting you some territory. They should always be in your lineup. Nooch has them in the lineup all the time. Hey, we got to go back to the bombers a little bit. We always have them in planetary, but they're optional for events. Did we mention that? Nooch doesn't know if you mentioned that. For events, you can use them, but they're maybe not the best. They're common cards. They're going to come in at level 1, so they're not nearly as effective as an event. So just pick your poison there. And finally, let's talk about R2 and C2. These 2 energy healing droids will heal your towers back from the depths. So there's nothing more frustrating, right? When you're playing someone and you've got their tower down within bomber range, you think you're about to end the game, and they heal it back up out of tower range. Then you go get it down back in bomber range, and they heal the tower back up out of... There's nothing more frustrating than that in a game, except for maybe when you bomb an Ewok treehouse and your opponent just builds one right away. But anyway, side note. So these guys are so valuable for their healing. You really want to be using them in most games, planetary events, whatever, to heal your towers back up. But there's another use that we don't talk about much, and that's when your towers are at full health. When your towers are completely healthy and everything's good, R2 and C2 can actually be kind of a tank. They can roll down ahead of units. They got a lot of health. They can do some damage. They can do a little bit of chip damage. One of Nooch's favorite videos was R2 walked up to a stun particle beam, and he finished it off. And there was an AT-AT coming, and BB-8 stunned the AT-AT, and R2 finished off the AT-AT too. Its last third of health. So they can do a lot of things on the board. They can even be used at the beginning to maybe do the same thing as BB-8, get to that middle territory. They're a little bit slower, but still R2 and C2 are faster than most units. So that's the benefit of R2 and C2, and that's the benefit of all of the one-shots and droids. Hopefully this discussion has helped you and can help you make your game better. And if it's making you get your game better, make sure to subscribe down below, and we're going to put a video in over here for you to watch. And always remember, NOOCH too good.